After the 19th century, the comparative literature, the emergence of English as an academic subject, before First World War, before Second World War, there was no English department all over the earth. So English department of English. What does that department do? Will that department teach English language? Will that department teach English literature? It is not mentioned clearly. But how? English department included as an academic department all the universities of the globe. Terry Eagleton said that that is the emergence after the First and the Second World War. After the First and the Second World War, British and American, they became the superpower, and for this reason their language should be taught. And not only that, out of the 500 international organizations, more than 355 institutions, World Hockey Federation, World Football Federation, World Economic Organization, World Food Organization, these are the international organizations. Yes, such kind of organizations are approximately more than 500. Out of this 500 organizations, maximum 80% they use English as their first language. So after the First and the Second World War, they had the political power, military power, and simultaneously they had their other power. And for this reason, after the First and the Second World War, English became a subject in many universities of this world. Terry Eagleton also mentioned that. Actually, that has a quite clear political implication. The establishment of the English subject at the universities was the result of the vast social changes brought about the aftermath of the First World War. That is the result after the First World War, Second World War. Okay. Actually, there is nobody who will be talking against English. Okay. United Nations প্রথমত 1920 সালে যাত্রা শুরু করলো, তার নাম কি ছিল? লিগ অফ নেশনস। লিগ অফ, তারপরে এটার নাম হলো কি? ইউনাইটেড নেশনস। So, for the result of the aftermath of the First World War, English started its journey, and we are getting English department. Okay. Next time it is also challenged. আমরা দেখব সেগুলোর আবার কতদূর পর্যন্ত কিছুদের গিয়ে আবার এটা চ্যালেঞ্জের শিকার হয়েছে। This is Terry Eagleton. Terry Eagleton. The Great World War, First World War, causes chauvinism, the word that I mentioned earlier. Chauvinism means exaggerated or aggressive patriotism. Exaggerated or excessive patriotism. Our country is great. Our culture is great. Our bhasha bol. Our language is great. In which perspective that was derived? That means they say that their culture is great and other culture is not great. Their literature is great, other culture is not great. And actually, whenever I will be calling my literature great, whenever I will be calling my culture great, I will be disregarding the existence of other culture. And that is called chauvinistic attitude. And that chauvinistic attitude grew after First World War. English literature wrote on power as the literature of the wartime nationalism. English language and sometimes the English literature. With literature, Englishmen could regroup both to explore and to find some alternative to the nightmare history of the after the First World War. Okay, actually, after the First World War, the people, so many people were killed in the First and the Second World War. The people, they had been suffering from existential crisis. 9 June and 11 June, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the atomic bomb, and after the Second World War, the explosion of Russia at the country. So with all these perspectives, the world people had inattention of existence with whom they will be supporting. Will they be supporting towards UK or USA, or they will go to the Russian bloc? So there will have some existential crisis. In that case, English literature, they offered some solution. Through their literature, they can regroup, they can offer some suggestion that actually what we are doing Literature can be the manifesto of some individuals and also some countries' ideology. Through the literature, you can convey your attitude. Okay, as we have also learned Animal Farm, isn't it? We have also learned Lord of the Flies. Yes, through Lord of the Flies, he said that democracy is the best. The Conch. Okay, the Conch offers that is the democracy. So in such a way, when after the First World War, when the people of all of the world, they were in a position that in which group they will be following, it is the matter of their existence. And at that time, with the help of English literature, they offered a solution. What is the solution? That means democracy. Democracy might be the solution. So through literature, after the First World War, English could regroup and English could express, English means Englishman, could express their agenda towards the world population, the world people. Okay, so that has been done. Eggleton's explanation connects the aspiration of the early comparatists who tried to transcend and overcome the cultural boundaries and to unite the human race through the civilizing power of great literature. So Eggleton last time conclude that actually of course we have to we have to have a linkage through the aspects of great literature. So literature can regroup, that's okay, but literature can also unite. Through the literature, through the great literature, you can have a reconciliation. Reconciliation, that means realization or the conclusion or understanding will be there through the great literature. So Terry Eggleton suggested that through great literature we can reconcile in our existing situation. আমরা এই বর্তমানে যে সাফোকেটিং শ্বাসরুদ্ধকর অবস্থায় একটা বসবাস করছি, সেখান থেকে মুক্তি দিতে পারে কে? একমাত্র লিটারেচার। সেটা কে বললেন? থ্রু গ্রেট লিটারেচার। কে বললেন? টেরি এগিলটন, ব্রিটিশ ক্রিটিক্যাল থিওরিস্ট। বাট ইংলিশ লিটারেচার ওয়ার্কস ইটসেলফ in a crisis of identity. Which ones we will be calling English literature? So, first time we started our journey, then Asia, Africa, then here we are in the position of English literature. Shobhan Majumdar said their literature is called sub-genre literature. But here we can have the true identity of English literature. Let's make an analogy. Literature produced within the geographical location of England. ইংরেজি সাহিত্য আমরা কাকে বলব? যেগুলো ইংল্যান্ডের মধ্যেই প্রডিউস হয়েছে যে লিটারেচারগুলো, সেগুলোকে কি আমরা ইংলিশ সাহিত্য বলবো? ইংল্যান্ড আমরা জানি ইউকের মধ্যে কতগুলো পার্ট? 4টা পার্ট, ইংল্যান্ড, আয়ারল্যান্ড, ওয়েলস, স্কটল্যান্ড। তাহলে ইংরেজি সাহিত্য আমরা কাদেরকে বলবো? যারা এই ইংল্যান্ডের মধ্যে প্রডিউস হয়েছে সেই সাহিত্যগুলো, অর ইন দ্য ইউনাইটেড কিংডম। স্কটল্যান্ডের তাদের ইংরেজি কিন্তু স্কটিশ, and their English is quite different to the standard English. Okay, if you visit over there, then you can see that their English cannot be understood over there. Okay, and Scotland for many times had been fighting against England for getting freedom. So the question came, the which literature will be calling English literature? The literature produced in the UK or in the England? Where does the boundary line of literature lie? Is there any boundary of literature? Literature is কোনো boundary আছে? তাহলে আমরা বাংলা সাহিত্য কাকে বলছি? বাংলা সাহিত্য কি বাংলাদেশে প্রডিউস হলো সেগুলো, না আসাম, পশ্চিমবঙ্গ, সেগুলোতে প্রডিউস হলেও আমরা বাংলা সাহিত্য বলবো? যদি আসামে প্রডিউস হয়, আসামটা এখন হচ্ছে ইন্ডিয়ার মধ্যে, তাহলে সে ইন্ডিয়ান কালচারের অংশ হয়ে গেছে, তাহলে বাংলা সাহিত্য কোথায়? Okay, so the question came, the literature, does it exist in the boundary line? So the question came. And where does the boundary line of a popular and mass culture lie? Popular and mass culture. Popular culture, that is the culture that is followed by many people, the mass people of the country of our area, that is called popular culture. And the mass culture, that means the common people's culture, the common people what they do in their daily life. So this the question came into existence. So what can be called the English literature? What would be the boundary line of the literature? Literature will be just according to the boundary of the country. দেশের বাউন্ডারির মধ্য দিয়ে কি ইংরেজি সাহিত্য পরিচালিত হবে বা কোনো সাহিত্য পরিচিত হবে? What will be the definition of popular culture and the mass culture? Actually, comparative literature raises so many questions. Through the historical perspectives, whenever you will be answering, that means so many issues and so many terms will become in your existence. Then you can comparing your literature if you want to be a comparatist. Okay. Once upon a time, English meant build. That I have talked a little bit earlier. A text